There is a number. It is probably smaller than you think. And once you know it, you will never look at your job the same way again. $750,000 in index funds. That is it. That is the number that means you can tell your boss you are done. Not at 65, tomorrow. And the financial industry has spent decades making sure you never learn this math. Why? Because you knowing your real number is dangerous to them. A scared worker is a profitable worker. Scared workers buy high-fee funds they do not understand. Scared workers hire advisors who charge 1% a year to underperform the market. Today, we are ending that. You have seen their playbook. Open any retirement article, and the numbers they hit you with are not random. 2 million, 3 million, 5 million. They are chosen specifically to make your stomach drop. Because panic generates clicks, and clicks generate clients who pay fees for decades. And your brain does exactly what they designed it to do. You glance at your savings, you look at their number. The gap is so enormous that a voice whispers, "You are too far behind. This is not for you." So you close the tab and you do nothing. Later becomes 40, 40 becomes 60. And one day, you realize a scary headline from 30 years ago convinced you to never even try. Let me take you somewhere you have been before. Sunday night, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, and you start counting. Not sheep, Mondays. 40 more years of them. The average person works 80,000 hours in a lifetime. 9 calendar years of continuous, non-stop labor. And most people trade all of it for a gold watch and a 401k they are too terrified to actually spend. And here is the part nobody in a suit will say to your face. 1 in 3 men and 1 in 4 women never reach 65. The finish line we are all sprinting toward, a massive percentage of the field never crosses it. And of those who do, how many have the health or the years left to live the life they deferred for 4 decades? Someday is not a plan. Someday is a trap. So let me ask you something that might reframe everything. What if the number you have been told to chase, the 2 million, the 5 million, was never based on your life at all? What if the entire framework was built backward and the real number has almost nothing to do with your salary? Here is what they never print in any headline. Your freedom number is not calculated from your income. It is calculated from your spending. Flip the equation, and suddenly the number shrinks dramatically because you control your spending. Not Wall Street, not your boss, not some retirement calculator built by a mutual fund company. You. This is the rule of 25. Take your total annual spending, everything, rent, food, insurance, subscriptions, your morning coffee, every dollar that leaves your account in a year. Multiply by 25. The result is your freedom number, the amount you need in simple index funds to walk away from work forever. Now, you are probably wondering, why 25? Where does that number come from? Here is the elegant part. 1 divided by 25 equals 4%. The rule of 25 is the 4% rule, just approached from the spending side instead of the portfolio side. Same math, same decades of research backing it. But framing it around your spending instead of some abstract portfolio target, that changes everything psychologically. Let us ground this in your actual life. Spend $30,000 a year? Your freedom number is $750,000. $40,000? $1 million. $50,000? $1.25 million. Even at $60,000 in annual spending, $5,000 a month, your number is $1.5 million. Notice that not a single one of these comes anywhere close to the $5 million terror headlines. Here's how the money works once you reach your number. Broad index funds, simple funds owning tiny pieces of thousands of companies, historically return 7 to 10% per year over the long run. Some years are brutal, some are incredible, but the trend is clear. You withdraw 4%. The other 96% stays invested and keeps compounding. While you sleep, while you travel, your money literally grows faster than you spend it. This is not influencer math. In 1994, a financial planner named William Bengen published a study that changed the FIRE movement forever. His question was brutally simple. What percentage can you withdraw from a diversified portfolio each year and never, under any market condition, run out of money? He did not guess. He tested every single 30-year period in American stock market history. The worst case Bengen found was almost hard to believe. Imagine retiring in October 1929, right before the Great Depression. Within months, stocks crashed 89%. 1 in 4 Americans lost their jobs. Banks failed nationwide. If you had to engineer the worst possible moment to quit your job and live off investments in American history, that was it. And even that person, the unluckiest retiree in a century, still had money after 30 years. The Great Depression, World War II, every recession, every crash for 3 decades, the 4% rule held. And here is what still surprises people. In most historical scenarios, retirees did not just survive. They finished with more money than they started, often much more. 2 quick objections. First, inflation. $40,000 today will not feel the same in 20 years. Fair. The 4% rule already handles this. You increase your withdrawal each year to match inflation. Built in. Second, retiring early in your 40s or 50s, use 30 times your spending instead of 25, roughly a 3.3% withdrawal rate. More conservative? Same principle. Your spending, your number, your control. Now, I have to tell you something that almost nobody in this space admits out loud. The math works flawlessly, battle-tested across every market condition in modern history. But people hit their freedom number and they freeze. They literally cannot bring themselves to stop saving and start living. The problem is no longer financial. It is psychological. Advisors see this pattern on repeat. The client reaches their number. Instead of celebrating, they spiral. Just one more year, another 100,000. What if there's a recession? What if I live to 100? The goalposts slide forward again and again until they're 65, their freedom number gathering dust behind them. The math unlocked the door. A lifetime of scarcity mindset refused to turn the handle. Researchers have tracked this. A significant percentage of people following the 4% rule die with more money than they started. Not a little more, sometimes millions more. They ate rice and beans their entire retirement, skipped every trip they ever circled in a magazine, drove a 20-year-old car, left a fortune to heirs who would have traded every dollar for more years with them. That is not financial freedom. That is fear wearing a brokerage account number. But here is the flip side. When you know your freedom number, something shifts immediately. Every dollar you choose not to spend stops feeling like deprivation and starts feeling like progress. That $5 coffee you skip, that is not sacrifice anymore. That is $5 closer to never sitting through another Monday meeting. You stop budgeting out of guilt and start budgeting with purpose. The number unlocks retirement, sure, but it also unlocks the years between now and then. So here is what I want you to do right now. Not later, right now, while I am talking. Open your notes app or grab a piece of paper. Write down everything you spent last month. Rent, groceries, gas, subscriptions, the random Amazon purchase, all of it. Be honest. Nobody is going to see this but you. This is between you and your future self. Got it? Good. Take that number, multiply by 12. That is your annual spending. Now multiply by 25. Circle that result. That number, the one you just wrote down and circled, is your freedom number. Not a headline, not your parents' number, not an advisor's sales target. The actual amount you need to never work again. Now, compare that circled number to what you already have. 401k, IRA, brokerage, savings, everything. I have done this with hundreds of people. Almost every single time, the gap is way smaller than they expected. And every dollar you automate into index funds starting today is a brick in the bridge between where you are and where you are going. You know the target. You control the timeline. The math is on your side. Build the bridge. If this shifted how you see your future, if that circled number made freedom feel real, hit subscribe. Every week, I break down one piece of the wealth blueprint, the real systems, the actual math, the stuff they should have taught us. And drop your freedom number in the comments. I read them, and I genuinely love seeing where people are at. You will be stunned how many others are chasing the same number. You are not behind. You just did not have the formula. Until now. I'm Alex. See you next week.